I found myself needing to come into the booth today, I think, to just riff without any semblance of scripture and just get something off my mind. I think I'm in a place right now in my life where things are really confusing. Maybe that will always be the case, but right now I have the opportunity to just wax lyrical and try and pass a way through, just verbally and out loud, all to myself, which is perhaps more common than I would like it to be. I think in a lot of ways the world gets smaller, smaller and smaller, which for my small stature already should perhaps be beneficial, but alas, it is not. No, not at all. I find I've seen the same corners of the UK with the job I do performing, going up all the way to Cumbria and down to London. It's just the same places with the same similar kinds of faces. And I don't keep any of them around, or they don't keep me around. One of the two, I suppose. But I find myself lost in that. Thank God I love driving now, because I spend so much time alone. So much time alone. In a way, I almost feel like I'm on the periphery of the country. You know, I spend time with actors, but it's only briefly whilst on set or in any station that I'm working in or anything like that. All the jobs I do are just purely me, myself, and I. And the actors that I do meet, which stick around a bit longer and I speak to, of course, I know how busy they're going to be. And so, of course, you fall onto the periphery of that as well. I think I'm finding this world to be a more and more lonely place. I have friends who love me, and I love them dearly, but I don't see them often, really. My schedule's so random with when I am and when I'm not working that it rarely aligns with theirs, so it's not something that I get to enjoy often. When I do, it's great and it resets that sand timer almost, I suppose. But as soon as I'm gone, it flicks back. And it takes a long time until there's an opportunity to once again turn the sand timer over. It's lonely. With my performing, I don't have an agent, so I am always shouting into the wind, looking for an agent, but then also just applying to jobs outright as well. And I spend so much time doing that. So much time, it'd drive you up the wall. Every day I'm busy, whether I'm actually doing a job or if I'm not doing a job, I'm filming self tapes, I'm studying different acting techniques, started going to classes as well, going to the gym, trying to keep myself fit and get a better physique to maybe try and get into some modeling work or something like that. But nothing, nothing really hits. I haven't got this big professional job yet, or even kind of half decent credit. I've done a few tours of Shakespeare, but they're largely inconsequential, really, other than having the parts under my belt, but they haven't led to more work. I do parties and private events, and whilst I'm good at them, it's another angle that doesn't really lead to anything. I don't really get any footage from them because they're private events and parties and such. I do murder mysteries, which massively increases your improvisational skills, but does it forward my career anymore? No. Immersive experiences, I've done a few of those. As a scare actor, because I have a properly guttural scream that I can bring out of the woodwork. I don't know why. I think the music that my sister used to listen to when I was younger. And she was a kid as well, of course. It was quite heavy, had elements of scream in it and whatnot. And so, as a younger brother, I picked up on some of that. And I learnt how to scream sing, which it's fun to do, in the car or the shower and piss off the neighbours, probably. I enjoy it, but am I realistically best at it? Probably not. I'm okay. And in terms of how I look, I'm quite unassuming to be a screamer, but alas, there I am. I think that's another part of my reality that I'm recognizing, really. That I'm an alright actor. I'm alright. Am I the best? No. Do I think I could be the best? I'd be very overzealous to say yes. And I'd agree with it. I don't think I can be. I'm a good actor with the possibility to become a great actor. Maybe not the best. The raw talent is a hard one to muster. Singing and dancing, I laugh at the prospect. And a lot of work that's going around at the moment is pantomime or musical theatre, that sort of thing. So I can't hold a candle to it. I sent out an audition recently for like one of these things. It was a musical, and of course wanted me to sing. I told them I can't really sing, and they said that doesn't matter. Just send us over something. So I thought, oh god, right. Let's just try it. Let's just put together 4 different things. So I put together Jesus of Suburbia by Green Day. Of course, it's a very long song now. It's like 9.5 minutes, 9 minutes, 20 seconds, something like that. And it's full of punk rock, massive energy, and that's something I can perform decently well. Can I sing it well? No, but I can perform it, and so that's what I lean on more so than actually having the decent singing quality that's required. I did a piano version of Blink 182's I'm Lost Without You, which is very cutesy, and I do it in my lower resonances, so it has, at least in my opinion, a bit more of a meaningful quality. And it's not punk at all, comparatively to the original. I did Linkin Park's The Messenger, a lower version of it. There's no way I could sing all the way up with the original like Chester could. That's all right. It's my favorite song, but did I do it exceptionally well? Mm, it's as well as I can do it. And then I also did My Shot from Hamilton, and that's fun. It's got a bit more kind of not rap, but it's a lot faster speaking, and I can do that. That's another performative one rather than needing immense singing quality, so I could do it a little bit better. Do I think I'll get that job from the audio that I've recorded? No. No, but if I don't go for the work at all, then I definitely won't get it, will I? Just gotta try. And that's the only bit of advice that is kind of helping at the moment. Is just keep trying. I think I'd be suited for screen more so than anything else. But I think my look is a little bit prohibitive of that. I'm a bit short, so that strikes me out of a lot of roles. My physique is not incredible. It's no Hemsworth, shall I say. And that sort of vanity gets you far. So unless I want to dedicate to something that I really don't want to be just to get work, a lot of actors make it without having that sort of physique. So it's not absolutely necessary, but it's an avenue to go down, I suppose. I'm not a singer, so that strikes out all of that. Not really a dancer. I could dance in the chorus, but I'm definitely not impressing anybody. The acting's okay, but I just think I just look a bit generic, really. I'm a straight white man, which of course has plenty of social advantage. Of course it does. I mean, if anyone's even listening this far into the video, and they have even the slightest inkling of anything other than a straight white man in them, they'll be vilifying me, and that's fair enough. You know, being as such has many advantages, and I'm very, very aware of that privilege. I'm very thankful, for better or worse. But with acting, I'm a dime a dozen, if not even cheaper than that. There are so many people like me. Can't necessarily sing or dance too well, but fancy themselves to be a decent actor. And my look, I just don't look particularly unique. I've got really blue eyes, and that's a selling point, I suppose, but lots of people have blue eyes. It's not going to get me anywhere, that is it? I don't know. Been trying for a decent while. In the grand scheme of things, compared to other actors and how long they've done it for, it's nothing, I guess. I've been trying it for nearly 4 years now. But in 4 years, I just don't know. Seeing the way the world is going socially, I think the sort of acting that I can muster isn't something that's going to be wanted. Well, I don't know. I really don't know if it's going to be worth it. What I have told myself before is that I'll reevaluate everything when I'm 27. I'm 25 now, about halfway through, so about a year and a half at 27. But I'm really starting to get scared that at 27, I am going to make the choice that I don't want to make. I just don't think it's going to work. I need to retrain. Which I hate the prospect of it. But I work so hard. I just don't stop. Every day I'm looking for more work, acting work, I should say. I'm putting myself out there. I'm messaging every relevant casting agency under the sun, from the big ones to kind of small boutique ones, which I've managed to find in the back end of nowhere, and just don't get a response. Makes you worry. Though that's been happening for a while, and I've not really felt like this. So what's changed? Maybe it's not what's changed, but what's been said to me. A couple of days ago, I went on a date, and I'd spoken to this girl for about a week and a half, and she'd been really lovely. Really lovely. She seemed like a really just grounded girl, was an accountant, so wasn't frivolous with money, per se. Like she was pleasant, she was good looking, nice personality, seemed really bubbly and up my street. So I suggested we meet up in person. Brilliant. And now this was on Tinder. Okay. So she'd seen my pictures, like my profile pictures and whatnot, and like uh like she knew what I looked like, is the thing. Okay. So then I go and wait outside this place where I said I'd meet her. I'm there a bit early. So I'm just stood around, and then I see her in my periphery, or in the peripheral, I should say. And she stops, and I can see her kind of looking quizzically at me. So I pretend I've not seen her and just stare off into space, but in my periphery, I'm very much aware of her. And so then she walked over to me, and the first thing out of her mouth was, it makes me laugh even now. The first thing out of her mouth was, "Oh, hi then. So what did you do with your photos?" And so I'm floored by this. Like, I'm usually not the kind of person to be totally out of anything to say, but I had nothing in the tank. Not a thought came to my mind other than, what the hell has this girl just said to me? So I eventually, like, I recoil. I stumble back with a bit of language. I say, "Well, what do you mean?" And she says, this is more verbatim, less verbatim. That first bit spot on, but the rest of it's kind of close, other than one bit, which I will point out. And she says, "Well, you don't look anything like them, do you?" And I said, "What do you mean? They're photos of me, like they're recent photos of me." She said, "Yeah, but you're not overweight in them." Uh, Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Well, I am not overweight in general. I've got a little bit of extra padding around the hip, sure, but like, I'm not large. I'm just not. Like, realistically, I'm not. So she's called me overweight off the bat. Like, oh, thanks. Appreciate that. So, but then she could have just stopped. She could have walked away, but no, 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 God forbid. No, so she continues on. She says, "Well, just a bit overweight, aren't you? Well, you've got an unlovable look, and it's just a bit disgusting, really." Holy shit. What the fuck? What the fuck happened there? So now I really am flawed, and like nothing else comes to my mind. And I think she's gathered that nothing's coming to my mind because after like maybe a couple seconds of me just stood there looking at it in utter disbelief of what she said, she ends says, "All right, I'm just gonna go now then. All right, bye." And then she saunters off. This was in public, by the way. This was in front of a bar. So there are people around, and a few of them are looking over. No one comes and says anything there. No, they just lead me to it. But holy shit. Now, now, unpacking that was a long day after that. Because I hadn't had anything else planned that day. Because, I didn't know, how long I was going to be out or anything like that. So, for a date that lasted less than 5 minutes, you learn a lot. So, cheers. Cheers, Jess. Appreciate it. But it's a certain phrase that she used, which was verbatim to spit I meant earlier. You've got an unlovable look. Well, thanks. Thanks for that. Yeah, I really appreciate that. It's really what a man needs to hear when things aren't necessarily going well in his career. And a lot of that is based on how you look, unfortunately. You can have all the skill you want, but if you aren't the right face for what any particular project's looking for, you're not going to get it, are you? And having an unlovable look, as she put it, can get you some roles, sure. But I don't really come across as a mean bastard, really. So having the apparent look of one without the bite behind it is tragic. I don't know. It bruises you a bit. And it's just made me wonder, I guess. Maybe I'm. Yeah, this has been helpful. This ramble's been really helpful. I think I will put it on YouTube. I probably won't add any music to it, though. No, I'll leave the riffing to itself. And if people listen this far, I will really, really be flabbergasted. I think that's been helpful. I think I understand why I've been feeling so awful recently. I think that combination of work just going pretty poorly at the moment, like I'm barely working. I'm doing some parties and private events on the weekends and a bit of work in the week, but nothing's coming through. So just doing my best. Always worry about money, of course. Never stop worrying about money. I'll go grey. I'll go grey by 30 if it carries on this way. But the combination of all of that, and then hearing from a girl I quite liked that I just have an unlovable look. Thanks. Whether it's true or not, it's not something I want to hear. I have other stuff going on in my life, and other people that I've met and that I talk to, and how they kind of respond back to me. It does make you wonder, but what can you do about it? I can't change how I look. I can't change my height. Can't change my jawline. I can change my weight, and that's something I'm working on for sure. Even if I'm not, overweight by any means, I can always be slimmer and always be more toned. So, fuck it. We'll go and do that. But, you know, just because you want something to be true doesn't mean that you deserve it or that you're ever going to get it. Just be happy with what you got. Yeah. Just be happy with what you've got. Which isn't the easiest thing in the world. And comparison is the thief of joy. So I try not to compare to any of my friends, any who are more successful than me or less successful than me. I just try to look at my work in its own bubble. And even I can tell it's not going well. And things just generally aren't working out right now. In any stretch of the imagination, from any angle, socially, career, trajectory, women. No, it's all going quite awry right now. I don't think anyone will be listening now. It is just me speaking into the void, but it's just a conversation for me. Recognizing that things can be shit. And they may stay that way for a while, but I've always got my life. Are you thankful for that? Because not everyone does. And some people take their own. I couldn't fathom that. It takes a lot of courage to do that. They could also call it cowardice. I prefer courage to know that that decision is what you want to do, and you have the capacity to do that. I don't think I'd have the bottle. Now, I have the testicular fortitude to do a lot to get what I want, and to never stop bashing my head against the wall until I do it, or make some wooden project for someone that I fancy and ask them out, which I did do, very daftly, I think, but may as well be honest. Life is nothing if you lie about the smaller details. I'll do that. I'll write up a huge email on how to stop someone from stealing your identity. I'll work so damn hard just to try and prove that I'm worth something. But it doesn't matter how hard you work if you don't get results, right? So just don't think about it. Work within your own means. And don't try and succeed for someone else. Just try and succeed for yourself. And if it's meant to be, maybe someone down the road will notice. But until then, I have to find a willpower in myself to make this life worth living for me. That's hard. But if things aren't going right and everything is in fact going wrong, then the only way is up, isn't it? A better way to look at it, I think. Everything's going wrong, then it can only go up. I think I'm the best of the bad, really. Of all the bad performers in the world, or people that their talent is more general in a performing sense. Maybe I'm on the upper scale of that. And I've got to somehow, some way, train hard enough and well enough to get into that good actor category. I go to more classes. I'll study harder and work myself into a grave just to try and see some light. Because that's what life is, isn't it? Work until you die. So may as well get back to it. This has been useful. Useful little break and discussion. Yeah, I'll put it up. Fuck it. I don't care, and it's just honesty. It's life. Even for those that are struggling with it. If you're still here, thank you so much for listening. And I hope you've learned just a little bit about where I am at the moment and perhaps where I want to improve, how I'm going to do it. Thank you kindly.